You could email an urgent question to Lisa in marketing and a follow-up. And did you see my email text? Or you could see her status in Slack and give Lisa a break while you find someone online who can help. Slack, where the future works. Break free.
I want to break free.
Ready to break free on your best vacation ever?
Now, Overwatch 2's phone requirement, quote, it's like being punished for being poor. Certainly, I don't necessarily think it's necessarily only people who are poor, but people, again, could be going through credit challenges. Maybe, I know this is shocking, maybe they don't want to sign up to a freaking multi-year contract with some company that they may or may not like their service. There are plenty of people that use pay-as-you-go phones that aren't poor, but nonetheless, there are plenty that are. Or struggling. I don't want to say poor, but whatever. Feels like being punished for being poor, Overwatch player Richard Munster told Kotaku over email. Along with 19 million other people, Richard and his brother both use Cricket Wireless, one of the prepaid phone services that Overwatch 2 will not accept for its newly instated mandatory two-factor authentication system, SMS Protect. Why won't they protect pay-as-you-go phones? Why won't they accept them? I suspect the reasons are that it makes it too easy for people they've banned to get new numbers repeatedly. I don't know. I've had to change my number before it gets leaked. It's really never been a problem for me to just call Verizon if I can change my number, but whatever. Every single Overwatch 2 players, including those who had previously purchased Overwatch, must provide a phone number that fits certain requirements in order to start the game. As part of those requirements, numbers cannot be attached to a prepaid phone plan, a landline, or use voice over IP. Though what remains of Blizzard's heart seems to be in the right place, the developer hopes the requirements will cut down on both cheating and disruptive behavior. Players like Richard are forgotten, not because they don't play well or don't care or don't want to have fun, but because they can't afford the right kind of phone. Shit. Or I should say, as I say, or they choose to not use that type of phone. Prepaid phone plans like Cricket and Mint Mobile allow people to pay the cost of their usage up front. Though unfairly maligned as Breaking Bad type burner phones, prepaid phones are easier to incorporate into low-income budgets, with monthly costs usually between $15 and $50. Some companies like AT&T even advertise prepaid services directly to low-income customers. Richard, a college student, uses Cricket's $50 monthly plan because you can't pay it that month. They just shut down the phone instead of taking you to collections. Very reasonable. If I get a regular phone plan and can't play it, my credit score gets destroyed, he said. At one point, in 2020, there were 74 million prepaid phone plan users in the United States alone. Richard is far from the only Overwatch player being phased out. I'm ashamed of having a prepaid phone, one Reddit user said, who posted in our Overwatch and received 1,000 upvotes in less than 24 hours. Never thought I would be disqualified from playing Overwatch based on my ability to afford a phone contract. But here we are. Blizzard is the first company to make me feel too poor to even play a game. And that sucks. But people work hard. And again, I'm also going to say, of the 20 million or 30 million people that have them, there are plenty of people, like I said, who prefer to have a prepaid phone plan because they don't like to stay on a contract. There's a lot of people like that. And also there's a lot of college kids. Oh, no, by the way, you don't need a cell phone to live. Blizzard's phone restrictions seem to primarily and widely impair U.S. prepaid phone plan users, and the company did not return Kotaku's request for comment. This is why the system isn't going to stop hackers or smurfs, one Reddit user wrote. They'll just use a virtual number service that Blizzard doesn't even know about. While Blizzard works it out, Richard and countless other low-income prepaid phone users are hurting. It feels like a large injustice, Richard said. Cheap postpaid plans are around $90. If you are a prepaid phone user who really wants to play Overwatch 2, you're looking at $50 more a month to get a Blizzard-approved phone. Talk about going free to play. Now, it's interesting, though, that this is it. And maybe this is what's got them into the DDoS bonanza. Because even today, you still can't play it. If you've been having trouble getting an Overwatch 2 on launch, you're not alone. Blizzard President Mike Ibarra announced on Twitter that Overwatch 2 servers are currently undergoing mass distributed denial of service, or DDoS, which typically occurs when something is maliciously flooded with traffic to prevent others from connecting. This is likely the main culprit for the connection issues plaguing anyone who's trying to log in to the game. Overwatch 2 just launched today, and people have been reporting obscenely long wait times, with some sitting behind tens of thousands of players. There have been other launch issues such as missing cosmetics, missing match histories, and buggy cameras. Weird errors are normal for a massive live service game launch, but someone trying to inflict a cyber attack on Overwatch 2 is not quite so common. Well, look, it's sad that this article just forgives all of these other issues, like, yeah, it happens. Because that's sad that we've just accepted that. You know what I mean? Like, it's super sad that we've just accepted that as, you know, games launch like crap. That's okay. It happens. You see this? Overwatch 2 launch marred by ongoing DDoS. And this is at 2 o'clock today. It's still going on. It's even players who managed to get in the servers had problems, including getting dropped from matches and other kinds of launch day instability that made playing challenging, if not impossible. Blizzard's Overwatch game director, Aaron Keller, issued his update on Twitter Wednesday, but things weren't looking much better. According to Keller, a second DDoS attack is in the works, and servers still aren't available.
I'm making a thumbnail right now, by the way, if you were wondering what I was doing.
I'm actually trying something different. I have, since I live out in the middle of nowhere, I use Starlink for internet, and it's actually been fine as a YouTuber because I'm able to compress my video files and upload them there. However, I'm going dual Starlink later today. I've got a second dish going up. I'm going to see how the online gaming for FPS experience is. The primary difference with Starlink is the latency, usually around 45 to 55 milliseconds, versus satellite, that's like 300 milliseconds. Satellite makes FPS games impossible to play online. But at 40 to 50, might be okay. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But, you know, it's difficult, you know, when you watch, you know, Blizzard continue to get in their own way. You know, I get it that people are, you know, people in general are pretty understanding. You see, we're steadily making progress on our server instability as well as working through the second DDoS attack. We're all hands on deck, and we'll continue to work throughout the night. Thanks for your patience. We'll share more as it becomes available, and that's the last update that we've gotten. For people, you know, who are in there, I also would argue that as I downloaded the game the other day, certainly them pushing that $40 pack in front of my face nonstop was a little annoying. You have to, it's very, very tricky and scammy how they try to get you to buy that $40 game pack just to play the game. But I don't know. Are you able to get into the game so far? You know, what's interesting is most of the complaints that you're seeing aren't about gameplay. It's just about getting into the game. And for Blizzard, you know, it's pretty embarrassing that they can't get this together, given, you know, just how long they've been at this. You would think that they could very easily handle any kind of cyber attack, especially on launch, but, you know, it's Blizzard, and they're constantly making me disappointed. So it is what it is, I suppose. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do make sure you leave a like and you subscribe. Obviously, I cover video game news, but I also cover everyday news, tech news, YouTube news, all sorts of stuff like that in 5-7 videos a day. Talk to you again soon. What's all this stuff? I don't remember doing. Yeah, he's got a beard now. Let's go monkey mode.
Isildur! Cast it into the fire! Oh, I beg your pardon. Never mind. I've forgotten that everyone can see into the future.
And you are?
Sea looks lovely, doesn't it? Quite fancy a
31.
swim. Yeah, I'd stay
Oh,
clear of
right.
swimming if I were you.
How's your head?
What does
My
that
head.
mean?
Got it.
Nothing. Don't
Listen
worry
up.
about it.
Until the boss says so, you are not on the list. So go talk to him ASAP and
Something
let's
about
get
to
things
come up.
moving.
Well,
Now,
can you
if
tell?
you'll excuse me.
I'll be able to see it for about an hour. Hellfires and all that. Also, I'm a woman. What's that got to do with it? Shut it, misogynist. Isildur, get below deck and sweep those stables. Yes, Captain. Well, nice to meet you. So, who'd you borrow the armour from? A hobbit.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and I'm not exactly sure why the showrunners for the Rings of Power came out now and decided, hey, well, things have kind of calmed down a little bit, so we're going to reignite this, like, Tolkien fan versus Amazon feud. But that's exactly what they did.
What, am I too
After
young?
being
You got the
endlessly
problem with my
crushed
age?
by,
No,
by
you
the
wanted to talk to me?
non-mainstream media,
That's better.
the new
Do you
media,
remember anything?
they
Know what
decided
you are?
they were going to run
Yeah,
to
I
the
can see
Hollywood
this is
Reporter
some kind of shelter.
and do
We
some
call it
sort
the
of
tower.
weird
Bracken and his runners put it all together a couple of months ago,
about how
and we've been
they
here ever
just, they
since.
just couldn't understand why
Hunting
nobody liked their
airdrops,
show, that it was,
scavenging,
quote,
and the rest of
pure
people.
Yeah,
evil.
I wanted to thank that girl.
They said people that,
You could.
they literally
If not
called
for
them
her,
people that
you'd
didn't
already be
like
chewing somebody's
their
knee bone.
show pure
Your enthusiasm was totally
evil.
crushed, by the way.
I'm not kidding.
Only thing Jade could salvage
So,
was your
by
radio.
the way, I'm reminding
Okay.
people
Can I get
all
that back,
day,
please?
if you haven't yet, please
Actually, I
head
think
on
I need
over
it
to
more than you do.
Believe
thequartering.com.
me, pal, that's not the
By
case.
the way, I always post my videos here. They're up like a little bit later than
Fine.
when I release them
Take
on
it.
various platforms. But the important thing is,
You know why runners
by
put
the
their
way,
lives in
Gildan's
danger
link is here
for
so you
guys
can
like
chat with
you.
other viewers.
So now you take the
Please
answers and
sign
left
up
for
for the
someone
newsletter.
else, and you won't even
I
share
only
your gear
email
with
maybe
us?
once every month or two, so it's
I don't
not
have time
something
to
that
deal
you
with
should
your
expect a ton of
bullshit.
emails from.
I've lost
But
contact with one of our guys thanks to the
there's
fucked up
scary
radios we're
times here
stuck with.
for non-mainstream content creators, and so I
Do
want to be
something
able
for
to
me,
try and
would you?
reach people.
I
Should I
don't
be
want to see you
deplatformed
or
or
your
should I be
precious
locked
radio
out of an
anymore.
account?
So go be useful
So please
somewhere
do
else.
head on over here,
We
put
don't
your email
tolerate
address
lazy
in, hit
assholes here in the
subscribe,
tower.
then
Hey,
open your
be
email
fair.
and
I'm not
confirm the
lazy.
subscription.
I'm just, hey, boss.
Save
We'll
it.
be sending you spam
That
to
last
buy
guy I
stuff
mentioned,
and all that kind of stuff.
he's only on the 13th
so please
floor,
do sign
but he
up.
might as well be trapped in a mine cave-in.
The Rings of
Come back
Power
later.
showrunners break silence on Backlash, Sauron, and Season
And I'm
2.
not the boss. Too young, remember?
This is where everything
I'm
happens,
Raheem.
says
Bracken's in
showrunner
charge
Patrick
here.
McKay, the War Room. The large windowless room centerpiece is a lengthy conference table, but your eyes are immediately transfixed on what's covering the walls. You're surrounded by concept art,
I'm not
laying out
lazy.
major set
No
pieces for
shit.
Lord of the Rings and Rings of Power Season 2. Showrunners McKay and J.D. Payne give a walkthrough of the sequence. They plan to introduce more iconic locations, that's what we need, Middle-earth characters, a massive 2-episode battle. This is obviously top secret stuff. No media has been allowed in the Fantasy's drama set, let alone this room. But the showrunners wanted to give the world a peek behind the curtain to reveal what it's like to manage the biggest TV series ever
13th
produced.
floor. I'm getting some stuff
Since
for Raheem.
Amazon's billion-dollar high fantasy launch on September 2nd, Rings of Power has been blessed with strong critical acclaim, 84%. That's not even that good. And dragged by online fans bashing its audience score to 39%, which includes an unknown degree of review brigading at the hands of internet trolls. The show's Nielsen viewership is formidable. Its first 2 episodes were seen by 12.6 million United States viewers in its first 4 days. That is a big number.
Jesus.
Okay?
How many people died here?
What I really want to see is, you know, episodes 3 and 4, episodes 5 and 6. I suspect as much as a 25% drop off in viewership, maybe more. Now, maybe I'm wrong.
Crane here.
Where were you?
Some of
We've been waiting for
what's
your
been
report.
hardest to hear
It's
is
been
the
over
cynical
70
point of view that
I
it's
lost
a
my radio
cash
for a
grab.
while. Don't worry.
Okay,
The
so
cover's
it's like,
intact.
oh my god, it's the
No
opposite.
contact with the tower's
It's the
leader
most
yet.
earnest
Unable
production.
to confirm
That's
identity.
not a paycheck
Taking
job
steps to
for
blend in.
anybody. This is labor of love. Oh, are they all working for free?
Remember that.
Well, if I
There's
looked
one
up your
more thing.
salary, would it be less
I
than
got bitten.
9 figures?
Shown no symptoms, but the
Okay,
people here say
figures.
I'm infected.
No, 7
You
figures
better get your
probably.
hands on some antidote.
He's making millions for sure. To run the show. There's no doubt.
What the hell?
So let's not pretend that you're just doing this out of the kindness of your heart. Like, sit down. The from lawyers came to Amazon on Friday. The token state was going to entertain proposals for the Lord of the Rings show, Prime Video, along with other entertainment companies that was looking for the the next Game of Thrones. Amazon's former founder chairman reveals I'm a Tolkien fan. Going after Lord of the Rings was a no-brainer. Yeah, sources say HBO pitched the estate on retelling Tolkien's Third Age, essentially remaking Peter Jackson's beloved Lord of the Rings trilogy, which grossed $3 billion and won 17 Oscars. The estate had its gripes with Jackson's adaptations, but it wasn't interested in treading the same ground. Netflix pitched doing several news shows, such as the Gandalf series and an Aragorn drama. They took the Marvels, said one insider to the talks, and that completely freaked out the estate. Amazon's team at the time was led by Don't Care. The estate not a specific pitch, but emphasizing a close relationship, blah, 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 blah. Don't care. We all know that it was the $250 million that mattered most to the Tolkien estate.
Hey, hold still.
There's just no, there's absolutely no other way about it.
Combine them. That will stop
So the duo walked in the second Amazon meeting. Executives interviewed dozens of writers.
Try to stay calm, okay? I'll be right back.
The deciding factor was a fleshed-out story and passion and depth of knowledge for Tolkien's world. Sure, maybe. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Some people had nice things to say about the pilot and the second episode, or they didn't have nice things to say. But I hope they stay for more episodes, Kate says. The bar has to keep going up. Criticism they can handle. They've heard it all. Everything fans have debated, they say, like otherwise argued among the creative team. They really admit, for instance, some of the first seasons lacked the urgency fans expected from Tolkien adaptations. One of the big things we learned was even when it's a small scene, it always has to tie back to the larger stakes. There are things that didn't work well in season 1 that might have worked in a smaller show. McKay agrees. It has to be about good and evil and the fate of the world, or it doesn't have the epic feeling you want when you're in Tolkien. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hopefully they do take that criticism. Some things get an immense amount of critical acclaim and win tons of awards, and are forgotten the next year. Conversely, some things don't get a lot of love, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. Amazon botched this launch. They did not ingratiate themselves to Tolkien fans at all.
Let's give this
to
a
be
shot.
honest with you. You could say one fan explained a Tolkien adaptation as a new age, politically correct, girl power garbage version of a fantasy. That's screwing the text. That sounds like what's populating Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb right now, but it was actually quoted in Wired magazine in 2001, story about Tolkien's fandom's reaction to Jackson's Fellowship of the Ring. There is this narrative in media that people didn't meme on, or that hardcore Tolkien fans just all universally loved Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's not true. Payne looks distressed by the topic. Quote, "The spirit of Tolkien is about disparate people who don't trust one another and look different from one another, finding common ground in a friendship that accomplishes things," he says. That's the spirit we tried to not use.
I just want to help out and repay you guys for what you did for me.
That's the aspiration. Would be offensive to people and enraging. It's very hard for us to understand. What are they protecting? This is talking about fans who didn't like the show. I don't see how people who are saying these things think that they're fighting for good. There's a line in episode 7 where Guy Ladriel says that every war is fought from, without, and within. Even if you're fighting for something you think is good, if you do something worse in that fight, then you become evil. I don't see how people who are saying these things think they're fighting for good. It's patently evil. Nielsen ratings released September 29th. He's calling fans who criticize the show patently evil, by the way. They did a highly successful launch, roughly compatible with Dragon. Precise comparisons are nearly impossible. One industry insider familiar with Amazon's working suggests other fantasy shows' performance is more anxiously followed than the company lets on. That's House of the Dragon.
So
it was never about critics, it's about the consumers, the insider says. All Jeff cares about is the consumer obsession. If you look at the history of Amazon, every division lived and died based on that.
Something wrong with what?
I mean, that's fair.
That fits the job, Brecken.
You see, Galadriel looks a little off, but how exactly? Actress Morgan Clark, clad in sleek new costume for season 2, and sports elaborate braidwork that would make Princess Leia envious. Leaving her coffee behind, She stands for the camera, test as pain and McKay suggest changes. Is her quiver of arrows bunched weird? Does the color of the bandolier make her look like a crossing guard? I mean, I don't care about any of this stuff. What you end up getting out of this article is Lord of the Rings, power,
Okay, Raheem, I'm ready.
power
What do I find Brecken?
patently evil
Not so
backlash to
fast,
the show.
everyone. If you're going to earn your keep, we have to find out if you've got the skills.
I don't really know.
So get your ass to the gym.
You see, the spirit of token is tough for people. I don't see how people. It's like they expect you that if you don't like the Rings of Power, then you're patently evil. You couldn't possibly not like the Rings of Power. I mean, they are pushing forward. They are pushing forward in season 2, and I think it's because they know that viewers are bored. That viewers really just want something to happen. And I will admit, this last episode was a lot more interesting. It was. And I know that there are people that just say, oh, the show's garbage, it's always going to be garbage. That's probably true. It's probably true.
Raheem, I don't see
but
you.
I'm looking at it a little differently in that I want the show to be good. I want the show to get better. I want the show to be awesome for Tolkien fans of the book, fans of the trilogy.
What are
I
you waiting
want
for?
them
Get over
to
here.
all really like the series. And that can't be possible unless they get their stuff together, unless they get some idea of what the heck fans actually want. And the fact of the matter is, season 1 proved they didn't. But it does seem like they listened. They understand a little bit of where they fell short in season 1, and I think that's why they're pushing forward season 2 sooner than expected. You see, the Lord of the Rings Power season 2 date could be sooner than expected. That's because I think they know they need to get it out there. Now, a day after Rings of Power season 2 started filming, which was yesterday, the head of Amazon Studios is offering an update on release. Per Variety, Jennifer Salke says that the production team is working quickly to finish season 2 as fast as they can. She also revealed they desire to have the shortest time possible between seasons without suffering a decrease in quality. Based on Salke's comments, it sounds like Amazon Studios is fast-tracking Rings of Power season 2 and working tirelessly to get it out for audiences as soon as possible. This is hardly a surprise given the show's first official Nielsen ratings, which were released and revealed Rings of Power had topped the streaming charts. Now, I assume that they just can't, with Game of Thrones and these long downtimes between seasons. It sort of works when you have the binge model, but now that you don't have the binge model anymore, people will forget about the show, and I think Amazon knows that. And I hope that they're eager to correct things and get things in order. I think that would start with less Galadriel, a lot less of her, or a complete rewrite, but I actually think it's unsalvageable at this point because we've had 6 episodes of her trash. I just don't think that. I think that you need to uplift some other characters. People need more action, more epicness, and if that means you get it in season 2, I'm actually happy to hear that. But I'm not sure calling fans who criticize your show evil was a great move either. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it and you click that red subscribe button down below. Don't forget to sign up for the mailing list today. I would greatly appreciate it.
Sometimes it's better to crawl through the low, narrow passages. Eaters will have a tough time following you.
The Volkswagen Taos. German engineering everyone can relate to. Visit your Southwest Florida Volkswagen.
Try not to slow down when you start running. Outside, if you stop, you're probably dead.
Over the past several months, anytime that there's been negativity surrounding Lord of the Rings of Power, and there's been a ton of negativity, Amazon has done the exact same thing. Try to do damage control by blaming the fans. Claim that this is getting incredible ratings and record high numbers, yet at the same time saying just a small portion of people are the ones that aren't liking it, and that's because they're evil. That's because they are racist. And now, once again, with only a few episodes left, they're doing the exact same thing. damage control, and attacking the fan base. On one hand, trying to say that this show is just a massive success, a global phenomenon, everybody loves it, but somehow say that only a few people are affecting the way that it's being perceived. It's such a complete and total joke. But in order to do this, they brought out the showrunners. J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, the two people who have legitimately no experience, that were apparently handpicked to do this show, to do the most expensive show in history. $700 million for the first season of Rings of Power. And we're going to look at this Hollywood Reporter article and call out some of the bullshit that is clearly within it. But just as a reminder, once again, Rings of Power 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Rings of Power 2.9 over on Metacritic. Yet they are somehow claiming that everybody loves the show. It's weird how that works, isn't it? Introducing the Lords of the Rings. Oh my gosh, look at these guys. What did they have them dress up as for this? It's like they're about to go find a school, if you know what I mean. Rings of Power showrunners break silence on Backlash, Sauron, and Season 2. The two first-time showrunners who landed TV's biggest series give THR a behind-the-scenes tour as they navigate challenges in Mordor, from patently evil online trolling to massive industry expectations. And the entire point of this is once again to try to hype people up for Rings of Power, because obviously didn't work the past couple times, and once again to blame the fans, to say that you are racist if you have a problem with this. Maybe this has actually been effective for them, considering how often they're doing the same exact thing. Since Amazon's billion-dollar high fantasy launch on September 2nd, Rings of Power has been blessed with strong critical acclaim and dragged by online fan bashing. Its audience scores 39%, which includes an unknown degree of review bombing at the hands of internet trolls. The show's Nielsen viewership is formidable. Its first two episodes were seen by roughly 12.6 million U.S. viewers across its first 4 days. Keep in mind, we will remind people that that number, though formidable, is less than what House of the Dragon got that very same week. 14.5 million viewers for House of the Dragon, compared to what Lord of the Rings of Power got. Just want to make sure we're very clear about that, because some people want to run with a different headline. But given this is Lord of the Rings, the bar is insanely high, and nobody knows the stakes better than Payne and McKay, the two first-time showrunners who embarked on an unexpected journey 5 years ago to make their Tolkien passion project, have now found themselves, as McKay puts it, on the fault line of the culture war. Not the front line, the fault line. With everybody from armies of anonymous Tolkien fans, well, some of us fans are not anonymous, some of us are showing our faces and have our names out there, so just for the record, to the two richest men in the world weighing in. It's not easy to focus on writing scripts and managing a cast of 1,300 on the most complicated TV production of all time when Elon Musk is slagging you on Twitter. Now, much of this article is just talking about Payne and McKay and the process they went through, how they got to be the guys involved, including they called it a big favor from their buddy J.J. Abrams because, they're from that reboot. And that was really the push that they needed to be installed as the showrunners for this. Some people had nice things to say about the pilot and second episodes, or they didn't have nice things to say, but I hope they stayed for more. The bar has to keep going up. Criticism, they can handle, and they've heard it all. Everything fans have debated, they say. They likewise argue. They'll readily admit, for instance, some of the first season episodes lack the urgency fans expect from Tolkien adaptations. Yes, there's nothing going on at times. Sometimes there's entire episodes that go by where there was no progress. I think episode 5 was that way. Every single character ended up in exactly the same place as when they started the episode. No progress was made. Payne notes that even the show's loudest critics admit the series looks beautiful and does a fine job of creating and appreciating the wonders of Tolkien's earth, or of Tolkien's world. I wouldn't say that. I would say that that is a common thing I've heard from even people who despise the show like myself. There are moments when it does look really good. There's also moments where it doesn't look good at all, where it looks horrific. The fact that they spent $1 billion on this show for 2 seasons and it looks like that is unforgivable. So it's not like it just looks great all the time. While Amazon could easily survive if Rings were to somehow collapse like the Tower of Barad-dûr, industry experts say its studio arguably couldn't. As one insider put it, it's too big to lose. This show is so important, that's why they needed to succeed. That's why they've been trying to protect it. That's why they've manipulated reviews on Amazon and on IMDb, which they own. That's the reason. People have been very clear about that. They will not let this show fail. They will lie about it if they have to. Yet Amazon has long known they were in for a rather bumpy series takeoff. They saw Tolkien fans slamming Rings of Power before a frame had been released. We all saw it coming. There were no surprises. Having insight into our global audience, we also have insight to the darker sides of how people can manipulate reviews and have other points of view that we wouldn't support. So the streamer announced it was switching off reviews for the show on his platform for the first 72 hours, then kept them off for an additional 5 days. The company continued to monitor reviews. Some vanished so fast, it's like they were wearing the One Ring. Amazon claims there's been a coordinated effort to attack the show for daring to diversify Tolkien with strong female characters and people of color. The hardest part for the people of the cast was to have so many things related to them privately that are just harmful. Let's be very clear about some of this stuff. There are people of color in Tolkien's world. They exist. He created them. They are there. You could have used them. You didn't. You decided to do something else for identity politics purposes. There were a lot of people that pushed back on that based on the true diversity castings that you put in there. Not true to Tolkien's world, but because you wanted to race swap a couple specific types of characters. But when it comes to strong female characters, Galadriel was beloved. People loved Galadriel. This is not Galadriel. They turned this character that's been around for so long from what she was to true to her character. They changed her to something else. They changed her to a, yes, slay, queen, badass, female, warrior, princess. That's what they tried to make her do. But it's not being accepted by people because they know that's not Galadriel. We had strong female characters in Peter Jackson's trilogy. I don't seem to remember I Am No Man, people having a problem for that. You know why? Because it's from the fucking books. That's the reason why. It's an explanation that satisfied the media but inflamed some fans who feel the company's dismissive of any criticism and arguably risked escalating what might have been short-term dust-up on its ongoing fandom trench warfare. As one wrote, I'm tired of the constant media harangues from Amazon that if you don't love the show, you're racist. And many point out that HBO Max, House of the Dragon faced similar trolling for its diversity moves, yet its audience scores weren't impacted. Yes, please tell me that. Please tell me why the same thing didn't happen for House of the Dragon. I made videos talking about some of the race swaps that they made, some of the decisions they made that were clearly based on identity politics in House of the Dragon. There's also strong female characters in House of the Dragon. Where's the backlash for this? Oh, that's right. People watch the show, and most people are enjoying the show.
Yeah.
Most people realize, wow, this is really well practiced and really well made. Maybe do still have some problems with some of the castings and the reasons behind it, but what they're putting on screen is good. They can't say the same thing about Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. Yet this will consistently be what they go to time after time after time. For Amazon to claim that there's been a coordinated effort. Was it a coordinated effort when everybody just downvoted to shit? This was it coordinated, or was it people seeing it being like, wow, not a big fan of what you're doing to this world, not a big fan of what you're trying to do to Tolkien, what you're trying to do to Middle Earth? Or was it just they're racist? Where was that backlash for, I don't know, say the Black Panther trailer? All the racists just happened to show up for Rings of Power? Not any other show? That's what you're trying to say? What an absolute fucking joke. It's possible Rings' percentage of agenda-based reviews might be higher than for Dragon, and here is where the mainstream media helps Amazon exactly.
What's going on?
Has a long, unfortunate history of attracting fascist-adjacent admirers, something that surely would have repulsed anti-totalitarian author. Rings was inspired by the horrors of World War II. Italy's newly elected far-right nationalist leader, for example, has been an outspoken Tolkien fan unhelpfully. This is what it all comes down to. This fake bullshit that the media is putting on people that like Tolkien. This mischaracterization of people that are fans of Lord of the Rings. The mischaracterization of politicians as well. But this is such fucking bullshit. But this is why Amazon had this up. This is why Amazon had this story put out there, so that they could have the media write these things about fans, so that they could say, you know, it's just been a coordinated effort to harass us. If it really is as big as you say, if these numbers that you're telling us are true about Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, why do you need to hide your reviews on Amazon? Why do you need to protect and delete reviews on IMDb, which you own? Why are all these things happening? If it was as widespread as you're saying, and as many people like it as you're saying, it wouldn't be issues. The reason they have to come out with all this bullshit again, this is what, the third time this has happened, before it released, after it released, and now once again, after 6 episodes, they come out and call fans racist. See, those are the only people that aren't liking this. It's just the people that have a problem with diversity. Because they are desperate to do damage control for this and to control the narrative. It is not working. That is the reason. And they have said that they're going to lie if they have to, because it's too big to fail. This show is too big to fail. We heard it before. They will do anything they can, from lying about the numbers to lying about the fan bases, anything to make sure that Lord of the Rings of Power is successful. I don't know if it's helping them. Once again, that first week, you can write all the headlines you want. At the end of the day, like we showed before, House of the Dragon, by over 2 million viewers, edged out Rings of Power. So many fans have rejected this. That's why they keep having to lie and put out these fake narratives. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram?
Me an actual
Check out the
job.
description below.
And nobody suspects I'm not who I say I am.
And my Patreon as
So
well.
far, so good.
I'll talk to you guys
Once
later.
Dr. Zara helps me manage these symptoms I'm dealing with, I'll be even better.
You only have to take one step now. You know, expectations are funny things, particularly when you happen to be a movie critic whose job it is to offer some kind of informed prediction on the quality of upcoming projects. Sometimes expectations can lead you down completely the wrong path, ending in crushing disappointment when said project doesn't live up to your lofty anticipation. And on even rarer occasions, the thing you confidently predicted would crash and burn quicker than the fucking Hindenburg turns out to be a lot better than you expected. But then there's the ones that end up exactly where you said they would, making every dumb mistake you expected, falling for every tired and predictable cliche you warned about, ignoring and contradicting every aspect of the source material just as you knew they would, and pushing every heavy-handed piece of social commentary with the regularity of a fucking atomic clock. Which brings me neatly along to the Rings of Power, one of the most anticipated shows of 2022. And by anticipated, I mean fucking dreaded, because basically anyone with an IQ higher than the She-Hulk writing staff could see exactly the way the winds were blowing on this one, and they knew what this show would become. And now that I've suffered through 6 entire episodes, which have slowly trained my will to live, I feel like I've got a fairly good sense of what the Rings of Power actually is. This show is a billion-dollar nightmare, a horrible, bland, disrespectful, corporatized piece of clumsy fan fiction that somehow manages to look both obnoxiously overproduced and shockingly cheap at the same time, written by people with a Wikipedia summary of the standard and an even weaker grasp of actual human behavior, featuring some of the worst dialogue ever uttered in the history of entertainment, and performed by a diverse cast of actors.
Just keep moving. There's no time to take in the facts. And try not to make too much noise. Without distracting the fuckers.
We all predicted it was going to be, and it feels like it's getting worse with each passing week. I could probably devote entire videos to picking apart the terrible writing, amateur performances, ham-fisted direction, and clumsy allegory for each and every episode. But since other people have already done that far better than I could, I'm going to do my best to give some kind of overall summary of this fucking disaster. So grab your sword and vomit bags, fellow traveller, and let's begin this journey together. The general storyline for Rings of Power is set sometime after a destructive war against an evil dude named Morgoth who tried to take over the worlds. Who exactly was Morgoth? What did he look like? And why was he even doing this? Don't know. Don't think about it because it's not important. What is important though is his second in command, Sauron, who took command of Morgoth and then promptly disappeared. I mean, he wasn't defeated in battle or anything. He just kind of gave up and went away. Why? Don't know. It's a mystery, you see. A mystery neatly contained within a storytelling box that'll presumably be opened at some point in the future. But don't worry, we'll talk about that kind of shit later. Believe that! Anyway, this is where our story picks up. It's divided into several different give the impression that this is some kind of epic, complex narrative, but the main storyline thread follows a character that happens to have the name Galadriel, because that's about as much as she has in common with the actual character from Lord of the Rings. This time around, she's a brutal, obnoxious, ass-kicking, sword-swinging warrior woman who's the physical equal of any man, because this show has to reflect the world we live in today. Anyway, she's been scouring the earth for clues to Sauron's whereabouts for the past few centuries. Not exactly Sherlock fucking Holmes, this one. And naturally, everyone's getting a bit fed up with her by this point. I know the feelings, guys. I've been with her for about 5 minutes, and I fucking hate her already. Her own squad decide to mutiny after following her all the way to the North Pole. And who can blame them when she's willing to leave one of them behind to die of exposure, rather than stop and camp for a few hours?
Commander! Wait! No! We keep moving!
Also, why do none of these people actually look like elves anymore? Anyway, she was eventually forced to return to her superiors without completing her mission to find Sauron, but they're like, nah, it'll be fine. I wonder if this strong female character trying to warn her incompetent male superiors of an unresolved danger will ultimately get proven right.
No way!
Doctor?
Anyway, they try to pack her off to Valinor because even though they haven't seen her in years, they're already sick of her shit. But then she bails out at the last second and decides she's going to swim back to Middle-earth across the Sundering Sea without any
Sarah checked me
supplies
out
or
and gave me another
flotation
shot.
aid, because that's
Okay,
something you
great.
totally do.
Not up to hold you for a while.
But then, you know what, she gets rescued by a desperate stranger who's totally not Sauron, so that the rest of the plot
Time for
can
a real
happen.
trial.
Oh, what are the odds of you happen to bump into a bunch of strangers on a raft
You got the first of real jobs for you.
square miles of empty ocean? So anyway, eventually they wind up on the island of Numenor, which is ruled over by diverse queen lady, because this show has to reflect the world we live in today. Anyway, Galadriel finally figures out that Sauron is headed for the Southlands by reading a map. Now, you might assume that being thousands of years old and having scoured every corner of Middle-earth already, including the Southlands, presumably, Galadriel would be pretty familiar with its geography now, but apparently not, because a character's only ever as smart as the person writing them. So naturally she needs to gather an army and get to the Southlands so they can lay the smackdown on Sauron and his orcs. And for this they're going to need the Numenorians. And naturally she decides that the best way to win their cooperation is to act like an arrogant dickhead and treat everyone around her like shit.
sends in a one-way video feed that lets us know when they're on the way.
It swept me
But the
to this
trouble is,
island
the
for a
airdrops of
reason.
Anderson keep getting
And
raided
it
by
will
rising
not be
stars.
quelled
Without
by
Anderson,
you.
we're basically screwed.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah,
Because
it's
going
so
out after
mystery
dark
why
is a
audiences
dandy way
are failing
to
to
get
connect
killed.
with this
But
character.
the next two Anderson
Anyway,
drops
because
are
we need
coming
the
down
rest of the
right at
plot to
sunset
happen,
tonight.
diverse
Brecken
queen
needs to
lady
go
agrees
after
to send
This may
Galadriel
be
and
our
not
only
Sauron
chance
to
to
the
reach the
Southlands
airdrop.
along with
But
300
my
men
part
to
here,
put an end to the
well,
threat.
as I said, going out at
Fucking
night is
really?
basically
300
suicide.
men is barely
Or it
enough
would
to
be if I
garrison a
hadn't been
single
setting
town.
safe zones and
Never
traps
mind
out there for weeks
space
now, which I have. Brecken and his team will be okay tonight, so long as you get out there now and arm those traps. That's the part.
Alright. What are these traps and how do I arm them?
You'll see. I'll be talking you through it. Just remember, without these traps, Brecken won't survive the night. And if he doesn't come back with Anderson, we are lost. Before you head out there, grab some firecrackers. Made them myself. They make a fine distraction if you get in trouble.
Just checking out the stream.
See, these people sided with Morgoth back during the war, and ever since then, their country's
You
been
heard
under
them,
foreign occupation to make sure they don't start getting the wrong idea again. So needless to say, they're not exactly enthusiastic about having elves on their doorstep. And when you know it, an entire army of orcs has taken up residence there without being noticed by anyone, led by evil elf guy who's planning to take over the whole country, which forces strong female healer to become strong female leader and rally the local villagers to fight them off. Because if there's one person I'd absolutely trust to make good tactical decisions in a war situation, it's the local florists.
That is one big pile of shit.
The final strand of this story follows a group of psychopathic Irish hobbits. Sorry, Harfoots, as they migrate across Middle-earth, led by Lenny Henry, because this show has to reflect the world we live in today. But you better hope you don't fall behind, or break the rules, or say the wrong thing, or just happen to be in the wrong place. And along the way, female protagonists knock Gandalf when he literally falls out of the sky, and then she spends the next few episodes trying to figure out who guess I'll have to say that the writing is absolutely atrocious.
I'm outside, looking for Spike.
You're great, right? Listen, I'll run a secure one of your safe houses for breaking positions. He's in a quarter surrounded by zombies. We gotta help him.
Alright, I'm on it.
Jesus Christ, characters even say okay on multiple occasions. Can anyone even bother to the characters themselves forward, consistently act and behave contrary to their own interests, change their minds on the flip of a coin, act surprised by things that they absolutely should know already, and generally fail to display any measure of common sense, level-headed thinking, or logical decision-making. Like at one point, Galadriel had not Sauron yet brought before diverse queen ladies so she could decide what to do with them. The Númenóreans don't want her there because they don't like or trust the elves, and Galadriel doesn't want to be there because she needs to get back to Middle-earth, so it seems like the solution should be obvious here. Fucking both get her out there. But instead, they come up with this ridiculous decision where they'll spend the next couple of days deciding her fate, and in the meantime, she's basically allowed to wander the island at will. How the fuck does this in any way translate to the situation that preceded it? The answer is, of course, it doesn't. It's done because the script needs the rest of the plot to happen, and the writers wish to integrate their plot with the world they're supposed to exist in. So they just said, fuck it, let's just do it anyway. And naturally, because it's a modern-day production, the male characters fall into one of two camps. They're either corrupt, selfish manipulators, or benign, unthreatening beta males who know their place and never show even a hint of agency. And oh my goodness, could they possibly be setting up the one heroic man in this show as the enemy that Galadriel's been searching for all this time? The girls, on the other hand, are either strong, capable, decisive go-getters who take charge of every situation and do things their way, or pure-hearted paragons of virtue with hidden strength just waiting to create. You know, shows like this are so tiresomely predictable that it basically gives away the plot of the show just based on which characters have been put into which situation. Galadriel is probably the worst offender in all this shit, which is a bit of a problem since she's the closest thing to a protagonist that this show has. She's arrogant, short-sighted, confrontational, and completely disinterested in the well-being of others. She's happy to let the men under her command die for no obvious gain, makes grandiose, self-serving speeches that people that she needs to win over to her cause, callously manipulates and emotionally blackmails others to doing what she wants, and generally acts like a spoiled, entitled arsehole. I don't think I've ever rooted for Sauron so much in my fucking life. The thing is, all of this sounds supremely negative because that's my assessment of her character. The show, on the other hand, desperately tries to frame her as the hero because in the minds of the writers, this is exactly what strong, empowered women are supposed to act like. She's not arrogant and callous, she's decisive and pragmatic. She doesn't manipulate people. She helps.
Okay, Jade, I'm here, along with some infected.
Watch yourself.
Has to be done, and everyone else needs to deal with that. The writers try to frame her as characteristics and virtues, and weirdly, it seems to be happening more and more these days. It doesn't exactly help that Jordan Clark possesses acting range that makes Brie Larson look like Captain Hepburn. She can do an angry scowl with the best of them, but anything beyond that is like watching Socrates trying not to be a complete twat. You can practically feel the internal struggle going on. There's an extremely telling scene where she's riding a horse along the beach, and I think she's meant to be conveying
I think it's too late for this guy.
Alright. Finish it. Don't let him suffer.
Okay, it's done. Fuck.
You had no choice. He wasn't human anymore. Now hurry. You still need to turn on the light. That's the only way to make this place safe at night.
Working on it is Fortress of Solitudes. Who is the stranger? What's the purpose of the magical bullshit sword? Who is Adar? What was Halbrand running from? What's in the box? Will Galadriel learn more than one facial expression before the
Hell yeah, boy.
Is
Ah, shit.
actually hot, or is it just her big boobs? These are all ongoing questions that the show teases to try and keep the audience invested, rather than deliver action.
Almost. Just give me a second.
Absolutely riddled with it. And the writing's not the only problem here. The direction, the geography, and chronology of this show is absolutely fucked. Like, In one scene, we're showing events that unfold over a period of weeks or even months, and then in the very next scene, we're back with a different set of characters, and only a couple of hours seem to have passed since their previous scene. Ships are able to sail from Numenor to Middle-earth, a journey of almost 2,000 miles in a matter of days. What timeline are we supposed to be working to here? Don't know. In another scene, a strong female healer and diverse elf warrior gather the local villagers together in a fortress at the edge of Mordor. Lacking the numbers to hold out in a pitched battle, they instead lure the orcs in sight and then collapse the tower on top of them. Holy shit, they did something remotely smart. That should buy enough time for you guys to escape. Good job. But then instead, they go back to their village inside Mordor so they can make a stand there instead. What the fuck? So you're telling me that an unfortified village with multiple approaches is a better place to defend than a literal hilltop fortress that can only be accessed by a single narrow path? I mean, at least that might have negated the enemy numbers and give you a fighting chance. Also, how the fuck did you even get back to the village without being seen by the other orcs? You must have walked right past them to go back the way you came. And even if you managed to repel an enemy attack, do you really think they're just going to give up and leave you alone? All they're going to do is regroup and keep coming at you. Unless you
Crane here.
Report.
Okay, I met this doctor, scientist type. I got him set up in a sort of research trailer, and he's working on a cure for the virus. His name is Zera. Hello? Do you copy?
Affirmative.
The size and disposition of the opposing forces, or even how battles should look.
Secondary objective added. Maintain your cover and secure all of his research. Acknowledge.
Your stolen file still takes top priority, though, right?
Affirmative. We find it unlikely that the researcher working on a trailer produce any significant results. But if he does, we want to see it.
Sci-fi channel original, no explanation for why.
Dade, it's done.
Good. We'll need to prepare more places at that point. We've got more signals to computer safe zone. Spike will mark them on your map later.
Together about 30 minutes before filming started, and I don't know, man, for $60 million in effort.
This map is huge too. Jesus.
And Crane. Thank you. Back to you, Spike.
Right now, it is to command to an agent to all the extract. There's no possible.
Got it.
But it does create problems that I don't think the showrunners really considered. Like how there's basically
Infected are all over the street.
So what does that tell you? Keep off the streets. Try to stay on the rooftops where they can't reach you.
They're all around the car, Spike.
You still have some firecrackers, don't you? Just throw some into the crowd. Those dead bastards are easily distracted.
You have Middle Eastern and African actors. Does it make sense that way in such a climax? Basically, what it's saying is that people in certain areas tend to look a certain way, and it like basically anything. So none of them have any sense of identity. What exactly does a typical Southerner look like? I don't know. It's basically what I've seen. They could be Caucasian, African, Middle Eastern, or Asian. How did such a diverse range of different ethnicities end up in such a small, isolated rural settlement? Don't know. It doesn't matter, because this show has to reflect the world we're living today. This show has to reflect the day as it is today. World we live in today. This show makes me want to...
All done with the car, Spike.
Keep on my gun, just like that. Next time this spot, you gotta study his name. Don't get caught out in the open.
Spike, these freaks are everywhere. If I need to use a trap, how do I activate it?
I told you, they're only for the night mission.
Shit. Okay.
Dismisses the concerns of her female subordinates. Bit of a pattern emerging here, isn't there? It's also clumsy and on the nose and desperate to push. But they might as well have the characters break through the wall and just straight up explain to the audience. Society. But I guess when you're an activist first and an artist at distance irrelevant, made by people without imagination or passion, people who have never been molded by experience or hardship, and have no well of creativity to draw upon. In fact, to paraphrase Tolkien himself, Amazon had slowly shaped it to their shifting purposes and made it better, as they thought, being deceived. For all those arts and subtle
Quite a contraption you got here.
suit their former
3 times Friday morning
so that what they made was not only a little copy, a child's model, or a slave's flattery of that vast imagination, but simple, idle, and lapped at flattery, biding its time, secure in its pride and its immeasurable strength. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
I thought some people could have the force, some people I need to watch the movies again.
So everyone has the force now. It's special by definition.
Fuck.
And when everyone's super.
So yeah, Rose doesn't have a second thought about the child's life. This is even sillier due to the fact that Captain Pike is a massive amount of security, likely because the place makes a massive amount of money. This means that all those animals that are eventually released will be captured and put back to work. This is obvious, and what else would happen when that many sentries are all chasing the targets when they've been shown to have weaponry? They aren't shooting because they're trying to catch the animals, and it's only a matter of time before they do, which is done in itself, by the way, as they call it. Just free them all into their homes. It is very likely that none of this is handled with a lack of realism, considering this series is being looked at as children's content despite the incredibly deep themes and the violence. What is it that you think this teaches children exactly? Free animals no out and stop mean things from happening? If anything, this will simply give children the pride, but he does comment on the destruction of the casino as a sort of revenge against the people who run the planet, the rich war profiteers. Now this is actually childlike writing again. A glossed view of the world where the bad guy loses because he broke his toys. Finn accomplished the destruction of many areas of Kanto by scaring and injuring citizens or tourists while labeling them all as evil as he trapped them through without any specific information on any of them, only to claim the revenge he apparently seeks. What a great character. An easy comparison for this is the realization that by destroying the Death Star, Luke may have killed many innocent stormtroopers conscripted for the sole reason that they were unlucky and didn't believe in the Empire. Who knows? This is inevitably going to happen in order to stop this planet killer from completing its goals. Here, though, he is just rampaging through a random city on a planet under the justification that he doesn't like the people who live here. What about the good people who are here? What about the slave labor that may be serving these people as you trample through? What about characters just like you and Rose who are here to find something? It is so interesting that a character who's established as unable to stomach human suffering is so blunderously carving through a complex thing with humans causing suffering. It's almost like there is no care taken with the characters in this film. But that's ridiculous, right? The comic is apparently justified by some of these people having profited from war. Do you understand what that means? They didn't cause the war, they simply profited from it. They aren't even strictly evil on the scale. They're just opportunists. Besides that, as a disgruntled sanitation worker for the First Order, Finn should know well and good that when some... thing is damaged in the Starkiller base, or the supremacy, the mess is not cleaned up by smoke or hunt. Engineering, or plumbing, or a specific section of people that work. Perhaps a slave group. Real people like Finn clean up the messes that he is making right now, and he should know this. Not to mention that this may have no real effect on the rich, horrible people of the world because they have insurance. But what does that matter? We know they have slave labor, so they're just going to use their price of workers going to be more sophisticated, working and ridicule, also the field bracket by the men who rule this world. People feel like this could activists have in our world today? Freeing animals only to scare or hurt them, or ultimately return them to where they were found, or they will destroy property in the name of hurting the ones at the top of the chain, when in reality they only hurt the workers who fix it all. This whole mess on Canto Bight is the foreground to the theme of war profiteers getting richer and richer while the young, defenseless children of the world are used as free labor for the planet the rich enjoy. This is so unbelievably on the nose, it's embarrassing. Why in Star Wars would they be using child labor instead of droids, when the droids would be cheaper, stronger, faster, and far more subservient? This isn't Tatooine, a distant desert planet filled with those who multiply out of poverty and engage in slavery from birth as a form of shelter and living. But at least Tatooine did have droids too. They were just low quality. This is a luxury casino planet filled with the galaxy's richest men and monsters. Why would they even bother with anything but the finest, most efficient technology? I know why. Rian Johnson wanted you to know that these were very simple people, and we should feel for the animals and the children. The heart coming before the mind.
Look who's scraping up the filth. Is it a human child? I wish.
Overall, Canto Bight screams of a child's view of the world and its injustices, the simplistic look at everything wrong with the world and why we should all change our behavior. If Canto Bight were written correctly, or at least with some sense of logic, then the goal of the message still would have been animals, children, and the poor are all innocent and downtrodden, while the rich men cleave their way through society with ease, benefiting from the suffering of these demographics. Why, might I ask, is any of this in my Star Wars film? Many people say things like this film doesn't feel like Star Wars, and this set of scenes would be where I point to when saying something similar. What a disappointment of rushed and forced themes presented to the audience in the most ham-handed and naive way imaginable. Let's move on. The Codebreaker, as I said, pops up to save them on the cliff's edge, and somehow nobody on the security force of the entire planet thinks this is worth checking out. Like, how do you miss this ship? It pops up right next to the area that a bunch of dog-horse racing animals escaped, and, whatever.
Oh.
The most accurate way to summarize this series of events is to say this. The Codebreaker was apparently waiting in prison to free Finn and Rose after they got jailed for a parking violation they didn't even know existed, and then meet up with BB-8 and steal a hyperdrive-enabled craft and then rescue them all from the cliffside, only to then escort them back to the Resistance fleet to break through the Supremacy's shields, to crack through the security surrounding the breaker, to disable the breaker, to disable the tracker, to allow the Resistance fleet to escape, all the while having BB-8 with him so the droids tell the story. There are so many conveniences in this entire thing that I am not actually going to break all of these things apart for you. I'm just going to say that little section, that paragraph that I just read out, made me genuinely wonder whether or not the writer was trolling us. Rabid fans have tried desperately to make sense of this. Such argument is that the guy is clearly drunk and he regularly ends up in prison, but continuously escapes when there is a call to adventure. It makes complete sense. This is a kind of Stockholm syndrome you deal with when people love something unconditionally. They will simply spin the situation to make it about how the film has us think for ourselves. It makes authors out of us, and nothing else offers such an experience. This is not true. Take anything with gaps in the plot and it can be done. Any mediocre film like poorly written content has plenty of room for you to become its author, and when you do, it should be clear that when your own headcanon is the only thing preventing the film from falling apart entirely, that you may be a little bit brainwashed. I have absolutely done this in the past with things that I love, and I've come to a similar realization. When you scrape the bottom of the barrel for convenience to make your movie work, and you have people invent backstories for your characters in order to have the actions on screen make sense, your writing is in dire need of help. Oh, and I almost forgot. There is an attempt to make the audience feel good outside of the reality of the situation. They show a child who is muddied up and still engaged in slavery, celebrating the release of the animals despite the fact that he'll likely get whippings for it. But it made us feel good to see it. Right? He even says, woo!
It's dead. But he just said woo! No, that was air escaping from the folds of his fat.
Woo! You also get to see the animals roam free. That's nice, isn't it? Honestly, I tend to block out Canto Bight when thinking of this film, not because it's boring, but because it's so horribly written on so many levels. There's nothing that can save how rushed and childlike it all is. I would in future beg Rian Johnson to not only re-script his work a few times, but to hire a co-writer that shares his goals. I understand that it was to be a solo project, but some people are simply unprepared or incapable of handling that sort of scope, or that pressure.
and Canto Bight is strong evidence of that. Because the problem isn't simply that the story is bad, that what the characters are doing and what the plot is awful. It's that it's also being told in a very incompetent way. Though if you're at this point in my series, I'm sure you've probably agreed with that by now. We then see Luke using the Force to try and contact Leia, and he sees that she is in a coma. This, I would imagine, is meant to act as a drive for decisions he will make in the future, as well as letting us know that Luke is now connected with the higher forces. We then see Rey contacting Kylo, and she demands to know why he hated his father. This very dramatic and serious scene is then undercut by the comedic outlook of Kylo shirtless, and Rey feels awkward looking at his half-naked body. Just another example of how difficult the script can be, demanding answers for the death of Han Solo, and then blushing at Kylo's abs. How do you want us to feel, Ryan? Rey then attempts to ask the question again while breaking up and getting very emotional, and Kylo shifts the conversation by telling Rey that she is made weak by her desperation for parents. She made a surrogate out of Han Solo, and she's now attempting the same with Luke Skywalker. Kylo then asks her if Luke told him what happened in the past. There is a reveal that Luke almost psychopathically tried to murder Ben in his sleep, and he was stopped. As Luke's character has been thoroughly assassinated already, this wasn't a shock to see coming. Luke Skywalker fails in an attempt to backstab and murder in cold blood his nephew while he slept. What a misguided fanfiction this is. On top of all this, we've destroyed Luke Skywalker. Okay, fine. You hated the originals, I understand that. But you also ruined Finn's consistency. A consistency that acted as a fundamental part of his character, which was an interesting choice, but it served a very emotionally charged view on society, so I know why you did that at least. But now you've provided the past of Kylo Ren that tells us why he's a merciless, bloodthirsty monster. Turns out Luke tried to kill him in his sleep. Is that it? You going to develop this at all? Did anything else happen? As much as it can be very impactful as a moment in life to have your mentor try and kill you, we hung on the moment for less than 5 seconds. Were there any additional events that turned him into the character we know from the character that Luke began to train? Could we get a few scenes showing the progression? Maybe a flashback to rescue this botched history? What about Snoke? Where did he fit in? Is everything to do with Kylo down to this alone? Perhaps I'm being too nosy, and there will be more of this as we move through the film. Kylo's speech then moves to talking about killing the past in order to discover who you are, which is now referenced as a great motivation in our culture across the internet, being echoed by many, including Boogie2988, as a life lesson. And I can't for the life of me understand why kill the past is being looked at as forget the past or remember the past, when kill means something very different. People getting over things or cutting off that which hinders them is a fine concept, but Kylo Ren is a literal mass-murdering, bloodlusting dog used by Snoke to cut down anyone who opposes the regime. Yet people look deeply into what he is saying and come to the conclusion that murdering those who prevent your own growth
I think I know how to kill him, though,
for him,
so we're
and it's
good.
genuinely good advice. There's only one past I can see getting murdered in these movies, and I suppose anyone is welcome to make of the content what they will, to mold it to their own lives, to treat the word kill as something completely different. But what I find hilarious is to see strict wisdom in an angsty sociopath's desperate justification for cold-blooded murder. It makes sense because something bad happened in my life and I want to move past it. Yes, this is the kind of reassuring philosophy you get from fortune cookies. To clarify, this does not explain why he killed Han Solo, as Han simply wanted to help and support him. It just makes him seem as though he is attempting to justify his own monstrous activity. His uncle tried to kill him, therefore he kills half of his uncle's students and thousands of people across the galaxy, including his own father. All of this while failing to kill the uncle, despite him being obsessed with just that. This is bizarre, as well as quick and boring in terms of a history for such a well-portrayed character as Kylo Ren. What is appreciated, however, is Kylo pointing out how weak of a character Rey is. Her only flaw is wanting to meet her parents, and so she gets attached to fathering figures in her life. Other than that, she barely has a fault to speak of. The most unrelatable, perfect, amorphous blob of a character in the long history of film. Anyway, she decides to check out the dark hole in the island that has been shown to potentially represent the dark side. She is sucked down the hole by some kind of force that we assume is the Force. I mean, they add something new and ridiculous in every scene of this film, so attempting to break it down and almost, understand it is just embarrassing for myself. Yet, deep in the water, she swims to the top and to a ledge to climb up. This is very disappointing in continuity again. She has barely any experience with water, rain, or pools of any
I need to
kind,
be out
yet
of there
she's
by
able
the
to
time he
swim
does that.
comfortably. It looks like Ryan forgot that as well. The sad fact is that it could have made for an interesting struggle, a trial, but she makes it through easily, as she often does with any adversity. She then enters a sort of hall of mirrors until she is able to ask the mirrors a question. Show me my parents, please. I don't know why Ray thought she was able to talk to the wall of mirrors, but it actually worked. Sort of. The mirrors eventually show Ray to herself, and many speculate on what this means. To me, I assumed it meant that she won't find her identity through her parents, only herself. But you can make of that what you will. We then jarringly cut back to her telling Kylo that she couldn't find answers to anything on this island. It isn't explained how she escaped that cave she fell into through a small hole in the ceiling, but why bother? Then, after a very fast conversation with Kylo, she decides to reach out and tell him it's not too late. There is a strong issue here. The writers decided that in the saga there is a simple idea that good people can become evil and evil people can become good, stripped of the context and the meaningful details. Luke wasn't trying to convince Darth Vader to leave the dark side until he found out he was his father. Luke had an emotional investment in him as well as knowing that he was once a respected and powerful Jedi. Now we have Rey, who has every reason to hate Kylo, trying to convince him to join the light for no other reason than Luke is a horrible man. In all fairness to Daisy Ridley, she actually emoted in her scene demanding to know why Han Solo died. She cared about the man, and Kylo murdered him. But now she doesn't care. We've rushed through a seriously large amount of scenes in order to have Rey almost fall for Kylo despite murdering countless amounts of innocents, injuring the only people who protect her, and killing her father figure. This is so poorly constructed. Luke then breaks her time with Kylo by force pulling the entire roof off Rey's head. She asks him if he tried to murder Kylo, and Luke demands that she leaves. Then Rey attacks Luke with her staff, and he defends himself with a stick he rips off a nearby stick holder. He disarms her, but she counters with a lightsaber, and Rey defeats Luke Skywalker in combat. Luke then reveals that he saw Kylo causing insufferable amounts of pain to everyone he loves, and so for a second thought he should kill Kylo. And then he decided not to, out of shame. Luke wasn't a psychopath. He was simply old, confused, and pathetic. And out from his shell erupted a confused and monstrous new and interesting character, Kylo Ren. Rey then says Kylo can still be good, and Luke responds that this won't turn out the way she thinks it will, but Rey is certain that if she goes to Kylo, she can turn him to the light. Luke then says she shouldn't go, and so Rey offers Luke his lightsaber, and as he is written, Luke turns awful in shame and fear, only to lie in the mud, wet and alone, with Rey standing above him, victorious, confident, and ready to save the galaxy.
I used to be the orphan of discovery, hidden powers. This one. I used to be the hotshot, impulsive X-Wing fighter. We've got Oscar. I used to be the one sneaking around enemy territory in disguise. Now we've got Rose and Finn.
The heroic Rey stands firm, breaking out of the husk that is Luke Skywalker with all of his traits now poached and utilized for herself, with no sense of it being something she earned. There is something important to understand here. People keep saying that these sorts of things are fine because the story is about Rey and not Luke. The story is about Kylo and not Luke. I have something incredibly surprising to explain to you. This film is a sequel. The story is still running from all the way back in The Phantom Menace. Many people feel it should have ended with Episode 6, yet here we are. So, when you change Luke Skywalker, you change his story too. But more to the point, this sidesteps the issue. Why can't you make strong characters without killing the old ones, both literally and figuratively? Why can't these new people stand on their own without having to strike down the icons we love first? Picture why people get so passionate about this nonsense. Regardless, Rey immediately leaves for the First Order fleet, and Luke decides to burn down the Jedi Temple. This is such a strange decision for him to make after the conversation he just had, but before we have time to understand it, the Force Ghost of Yoda makes an appearance. Yoda performs Luke's task for him and burns down the tree with a lightning strike from above. This one action creates a solid foundational argument for the difference in how people value rules within a story being told. Why does it matter that a ghost of a puppet is summoning lightning and laughing about it? Can't you simply enjoy the film? Why do you have to take this seriously? Well, Star Wars, the original trilogy, explained Force ghosts very sparingly. We didn't even understand what they really were. We don't even know if they're being seen only by the people viewing them. We assumed that they couldn't do anything but talk to the person they were watching over. The Force ghosts would provide insight, encouragement, and advice for the journey of the character. In reality, I think they were just invented so that Alec Guinness could actually have a part in the second and third of the trilogy. Ultimately, though, they were very reserved in terms of power. They didn't really have any. But now they have power. Real power. They have real influence on the world.
Now, matches are worse. That boy is our last hope.
Yoda and Obi-Wan, when speaking to each other in the originals, had goals in mind. They wanted to defeat the Empire. They wanted to defeat the Sith. So now that this power has been added to the canon, why don't they summon lightning to protect their loved ones and destroy their enemies? Why haven't they defeated the First Order or the Empire previously with these abilities? Why don't they hit people? Yoda is shown to be able to do it. Why is this the first time we're seeing it in 8 episodes? Why does it come across like this is a child writing the script again? The idea that a puppet ghost making lightning, exploding a tree, and making Luke shout no is a wonderful little idea. But you need the voice in your head that says, this is not going to play well on screen. This is going to cause issues. Like I said, co-writer, script doctor, law specialist. They would have prevented this nonsense from happening. Yoda then brings some much-needed levity to the film. He talks about the more written and focused side of the Jedi, and the fact that it's something that is okay to be forgotten, or at the very least devalued, as it does not contain anything that Rey does not already possess. I find this line hard to swallow if he's talking about the understanding of the Force, or the Jedi, and the balance, since she's only received half a singular lesson, a lesson that was supposed to convince her not to be a Jedi. But we realize that Yoda is actually referring to something else with this line. Yoda then points out a flaw in Luke Skywalker. He always looks to the horizon, the future, the possibilities instead of what's in front of him at the present. This helps in the open for no reason. Or if you secured her with more mutineers under the banner that their current admiral was trying to kill them all, but hey, what are you going to do? Ryan clearly wanted her to escape. The Codebreaker then breaks into the breaker room, and Finn is now able to access the breaker to disable it, and thus temporarily disable the tracker in order to allow the Raddus to make a jump to hyperspace without being tracked. I am glad we're all keeping up with that. But they're caught by the BB unit, and they have an extremely unfortunate shot for the film to make it very clear to the audience that this droid that you saw before, this one is responsible for the capture. In case you didn't know, it just slowly zooms on him while he makes this spinning entrance. I couldn't help but laugh at this. Nazi! Besides that, though, are you telling me that Finn knew this place back to front, and yet he surmised that they needed to chop into the front door with hacking, and several men and the BB-8 droid are already in there? How did they get ahead of them? Assuming they didn't get ahead of them, since that would be ridiculous. Is there a secret entrance that Finn simply didn't know about? Oh, and Captain Phasma is reintroduced. We're led to believe that she died in episode 7. What do we do with her? Is there a garbage chute? Trash compactor? Yeah, there is. But she's back now. Great. 1 hour and 36 minutes into the film. Fantastic. Not like the trailers implied something different or anything. The bridge is then broken into and Leia is leading the charge. Poe is obviously shocked by this and she hits him with a stun after he pulls out her blade. Leia doesn't even try to talk to Poe. Apparently she just knows exactly what's happening and charged into a room filled with smoke, just hoping she wouldn't immediately get shot by mutineers. It's worth mentioning that the most basic sort of continuity and logic is now too rich for this script. And this only gets worse as time goes on. We then make a cut to the transports lifting off and Leia is laughing with Holdo about how much they like Poe. Let me say that again. We cut to Leia and Holdo overseeing the transports being released and laughing about how silly yet awesome Poe is. When watching this movie, things can convince you can't think about what you're feeling in the moment, but in my script I can pause whenever I want and talk to you guys about anything. This is a very neat power. This very moment in the movie, this exact spot for anyone watching is possibly one of the worst told stories in history because of the confusion. The B-plot relied on Poe's actions, and now those actions have been recontextualized as not only wrong, but potentially a joke throughout the film, making the A-plot with Poe and the B-plot with Finn worth worthless, making the film almost pointless except for Rey's plot. When you see the two most powerful plan-making forms of authority in the Resistance laughing and releasing the transports at this point in the film, everything is thrown out the window. What is at stake right now? What is being done about this at this very moment? The transport thing is a terrible idea, isn't it? If you could have plucked every person who thinks this movie is well written from the cinema at this very point and asked them what is actually happening, they would have no coherent answer. Nobody knows or can guess because the answer is so ridiculous that not even the greatest fan fiction writers would try and pull it. We were waiting for the climax of the plot only to be completely subverted with no reason or understanding of any of it. Like, the only purpose of all of this is to absolve Holdo and to attempt to humiliate Poe. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. Holdo says that she cannot board the transports with the rest of the survivors as someone has to stay back and pilot the ship. It apparently cannot be piloted by a droid with instructions. It also cannot be autopiloted. There is no explanation for this. Again, I wonder if there's going to be a reason why the writers are forcing Holdo to stay behind in this wonderfully constructed film. The random subordinate lady then says, "I hope this works," implying there is some kind of plan here, but the audience has not yet been made aware of it, so we can't even be invested in the events at hand. Then we cut back to Rey, and in a shot-for-shot steal of Episode 6, again, she has her cuffs taken off by Snoke, just like the Emperor did with Luke, and we come to the exact same problem again. The Emperor wanted Luke to be free in order to fight Vader and fall to the dark side.
You run up on a volatile, give him a face full of UV, or lead him into a trap which you can trigger with that remote. Got it?
Why release her? I can tell you why. Because it provides the audience with one hollow and predictable reaction.
Despite your efforts, Brecken's mission failed.
Shit, is he
Snoke
okay?
explains that he was worried about who would rise to match Kylo as the balance of
tower. Jay called all the scouts in, and that means you.
Rey then says all the things that she's been saying up to this point. Basically that she's good, Kylo is going to be good, and Luke is not useless. All of these statements are laughed off by Snoke as he basically tells her that he orchestrated all of it. He created the bridge with Kylo and he allowed her to see into his conflicted mind because he knew it would be easy to become manipulated by it. We don't really get to dwell on this, but what Snoke has alluded to would be Rey's second flaw. The first being that she's desperate to find parents, and the second being that she is too kind and sees a light in people when it isn't there or it's difficult to nurture. So, to review, her literal flaws are: she wants to find people to love and give her guidance. She believes in the good of people, even if they are evil. There is nothing wrong with this heavenly creature. No hardship or cross she has to bear. She's not greedy, prideful, self-centered, emotionally stunted, emotionally unstable, selfish, reckless, overconfident, naive, blinded by love, womanizing, stupid, psychopathic, self-righteous, narcissistic, inexperienced, overly ambitious, narrow-minded.
Crane here.
Report.
I'm about to have a meeting with the tower's leader.
Acknowledged. Confirmed identity. Contact us immediately.
Or lust for power. She is a person with no flaw that could be considered something to work on personally while being incredible at every activity she engages in. This, in common analysis, is known as a Mary Sue. As much as people fight the tide on this, it is exactly what Rey is. She is a classic example. It has nothing to do with her being a girl. A Mary Sue character isn't good for a story because there's no room to grow, to learn, to change. She's already made it there. She's already better than Luke, Poe, Kylo, Finn, and the rest of the characters as they have a semblance of a flaw that is utilized in the film, arguably. But not her. She is perfection, while going through no hardships or tough lessons. In fact, she imparts lessons to other far more experienced individuals regularly.
I bypassed the compressor.
Huh.
What are you doing back there? Are you ever going to fight back?
I'm working on it!
You will never be as strong as Darth Vader.
You might need this.
I think I can handle myself.
And I find myself watching her story unfold and thinking, how can I relate to this? I am not, nor have I met, perfection. I didn't know it existed, so I don't believe in her, or root for her, as I am reassured that the writing will take good care of her, and I am just here for the ride. People have argued that this is because the Force is attempting to counterbalance Kylo Ren, and this explains her abilities, to which all I can say is, that is a choice for the writers to make. A cop-out to make your character incredible. It is not a rule from the universe. Besides, if I accepted it as a reason for this godlike monolith of a role model to exist, then she would still exist. Even if this idea makes sense, it's still there. It's the same issue with Luke. Even if 30 years of development explains why he is sheepishly sipping milk from a whalish giraffe, he is still doing it, and that is the problem. Rey may have the flawless character with incredible abilities that she earned fair and square, which she didn't, but the problem is that she would still be the...
Embarrassing. Me, through natural growth, actually getting successful on YouTube, or you dick riding an irrelevant music composer in the gaming industry hoping to be successful. You were a shill and you're a piece of shit. Yeah, let's watch this the way it was intended. How's your amigo doing, Retro Bro?
Made fun of his family, tried to make it about him and his family. In typical Rich fashion, he is a fat, white Karen, is what he is. He is a male Karen. It's exactly what Rich is. And typically I wouldn't give him the time of day, but the fact that I get under his skin so much.
No, I got under your skin. You got really pissed off that I was being critical of Tommy. That's what really made you go after me. And who was right in the end, Retro Bro? Who was right in the end? Who had to walk away like a giant pussy with their tail between their legs? Me or you? You. You had to white knight for your fucking snake oil salesman fucking girlfriend, Tommy Tellerico. That you had to jump in front of him, right? Are you guys pals still now? Is he calling you, giving you emotional support? Let me know. Give me a call, dude. You dick rode me into sending a friend request before all this shit back on Facebook. Come on, man, message me. We can have a chat about this.
Is one of the reasons why I'm here and why I like to talk about him and laugh at him.
That won't be awkward at all.
Is Amico Forever coming back? I did see a thing that Mr. Wonderful. Rich neither reviews nor texts nor belongs in the USA. Curb stomp him. He, I guess Amigo Forever's coming back, right? Apparently that's the word.
He's trying to... Retro Bro Rich has more talent on one of his ass hairs. Whatever. Let's, I'm naked right now, apparently.
Worrying about YouTube, Rich needs to worry about child support.
Clickbait. It's a handmade unit. How do all these guys know about my... Dude, he did that first. Like, before the whole Amigo thing, Tipster, he dick rode me. Because that's all he is. He's a dick rider. And he thought that this thing... He thought that being up Tommy's ass was going to get him, like, some kind of relevancy. How'd that work out, man? And I explained this already with the apology video. I had a deadline for that sponsor. My other two videos that day were short. The apology video was the longest. On top of it, too, the reason why I chose that to put the sponsor in was because it was the longest video and I wasn't apologizing for, like, you know, going to a farm and fucking chickens. I was apologizing because I derped in interviews. You know what I mean? So, let's see what his genius commentary. My brother just told me he ordered a cameo asking you to say relax your anus in Sexy Coco's voice and says you never did it. If it's still in the queue, I've missed only one. I've missed only one cameo. And I did it for free for the person because I missed it. So I said technically I've missed none. My laziness and my disinterest and not wanting to interview Tommy is an excuse. Yes. La 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 la.
And big taints.
Wait, what? he didn't put his favorite YouTuber on his Twitter bio.
I still had a job to do. It doesn't matter that I didn't want to hear. Well, he weaponizes his audience evil, so he knows because he's going to get...
Oh, he's another one. He's another one. I weaponize my audience. I weaponize them. All of these guys who get fucking roasted for being idiots. All of these guys who get roasted, who also have big, fragile fucking egos, because they don't like what you have to say, they're getting attacked. Don't be in the public eye then, if you don't like to get criticized for being an asshole. Just stay off the internet. You can't be on the internet because you want attention and filter out all the negative attention. It's not how it works. And I'm not talking about harassment. I'm not talking about none of that shit's okay. But all you fucking pussies, you want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to be on the internet, you want to get a following, but you want a cult. Yeah, people aren't just going to blindly agree with you, and it's not an attack because they criticize you for being an asshole.
I get a lot of people that watch his videos, and they don't watch mine. He can essentially run the narrative, and that's what he's trying to do when he says, oh, you know, Retro Bro made fun of my family.
Run the narrative? Dude, first off, I've only talked about the shit in live streams. I never made a video on you. I've talked about it in live streams, and I talked about it on Twitter. I don't give that much of a fuck about you. The only reason, because I knew this was going to come up, so someone sent it, and I'm like, wait, Retro Bro's talking about me, and it was pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be.
But I can pull the receipts any time of the day. Thank you, Potion, for doing that video. What's up, Geeks with Cash? I'm not sure walking into, but I am. What's up, bro? About his life story 65,000 times. It doesn't matter that he's a tough person. You're walking into the end, Geeks with Cash, but it has been a fun stream. In an interview, it's still my job to ask the questions, and I did. And I learned a lot of lessons from that. I don't care how tired I am next time, or how stressed I am next time, or how annoying the guest is that I have on next time. It's my job to ask the questions that I should ask so you can hear them. I have a job and an obligation when I have people on
which
like
is
that
true
to ask them questions that you want to hear. Because if I'm just going to have them on there to just sit on a soapbox and say whatever they want to without me realizing it because I was an idiot. By the way, this is a apology video that not only did he monetize, but he...
Oh, that thing. Who cares? Oh, you're like, who gives a shit? It depends on the context of it, dude. It depends on the context of it. If I had a CSGO lotto scam like T Martin and I monetized it, hey guys, just want you to let you know I was going on a killing spree. By the way, enjoy today's sponsor, and yes, the video is monetized. That's a little different. Christ, man.
Runs an ad for this Athletic Greens. By the way, awfully ironic that Rich is running.
I knew he was going to say that before he even finished his mouth.
Running an ad and being sponsored for this Athletic Greens. Let's actually check this out. I'm kind of curious what the fuck this even is. Oh my gosh, Foundation Nutritional you can count on. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? This is your spokesman? This guy right here.
Crane here.
Is he trying to cancel his sponsor off? I think he is.
Someone please contact Athletic Greens. Did they like...
likely suspect is this warlord,
he literally just said
local
it.
guy. Calls himself
he literally just said
He's
it.
hoarding antizen and then gouging the hell out of anybody who wants to buy some. I'm on a mission to get antizen from the airdrop. If I don't succeed, they'll have to come up with something else.
Wow. Did they vet their sponsors?
Stay on task.
Holy shit. I thought I was just kidding at first.
It supports immunity, boosts energy, helps recovery, promotes gut health. I don't think it's working, Rich. Rich?
Man, with the fat jokes, too. Why are you so angry at me, man? What did I do to you? Besides calling you out for being the dick-riding clown that you are. Yes, I actually had some of it today. Man, are you angry? Are you angry that you desperately tried to ride someone's coattails and you're a fucking failure?
I don't think it's working. I've seen you with your shirt off. Listen, move on. Talk about a shill. This guy is such a fucking hypocrite, dude. He's like...
YouTubers have sponsors. Who's more of a shill? You sitting there blindly defending another man's product when it was going to be shit and attacking anyone who questioned the product? Or a YouTuber having a sponsor who also went out of his way and said, yeah, I fucked up with interviews and owned up to it? Like, you tell me.
Oh yeah, I didn't ask the right questions.
Three-quarters of all atoms fall in the so if you start from there, you have the best chance of getting to that horizon meant.
One of those two, either one, not good. Unlock your offer. Wow, how much is this fucking shit, dude? Single subscription of $80 a month. Wow, a one-time purchase of $100.
He's really trying to... This is unreal. You're on a whole new level of shitless with me.
$30 servings in a single pouch? Are you fucking kidding me?
Jade, I'm getting close to the drop zone.
Bullshit, dude.
Good.
I just
Find some shelter and then wait. Most of the drop zone before exactly right next.
I'm gonna go through the ingredients on here at some point and see if it's actual junk or not. Because generally, when stuff like this is overpriced and you have a fucking...
There's a crate. It looks intact. I'll check out what's inside.
What does this have to do?
Spokesman who looks like this? Oh, this will be fun to look into. Athletic Greens partner offer. Come on, man. If this guy can... Like, look at the guys who are selling this.
What does this have to do? Yeah, he literally just said to... He's saying, how dare you go after me and attack me? Oh yeah, by the way, guys, try to get his sponsor to cancel him. These guys, there's no shame with them. There's no honor with these guys. Here's the thing. I may have man titties, Retro Bro, but I'm more of a man than you can ever be. Here's why. Because I'm actually comfortable in my own skin. You're not comfortable in your own skin. You have this stupid fucking ideal of what a man is. And all of these guys, too, you're punching down, you're doing this, and then they'll do the same thing back. You don't have any integrity whatsoever. So you can flex all you want to and show your washboard abs, but you're still a little boy. So sit down, son. Let a more successful YouTuber teach you how it's done.
So obviously, maybe not so much him, but fit, in shape people, nice looking people. This guy, who is their fucking marketing director? Good lord. Oh my god, dude. So he makes this apology video and he runs this ad on it. Monetizes the video.
How dare I? Wow.
It's like the lowest level thing you can do as a YouTuber if you're gonna make an apology video to your own.
No, it's not. It depends on what it is about. Okay? If I did something like EDP4, my channel would be shut down. Or James Charles, let's use them. Quite a different story. Me saying that I was bored shitless in an interview but still should have interviewed them better is a different level.
Audience, generally...
No, Sergeant Dan, I don't agree. Sorry.
You don't monetize
fucking news stations and tech websites do corrections and say they make mistakes all the time, and there's still ads on there. What's the fucking difference? Why do I have to be a patron saint of something?
This video, you certainly don't want a fucking ad on it with a affiliate link that's going to get you paid if somebody buys this. Good lord. Good fucking lord. Archie, you got surgery. What, did he get the fucking surgery last week? That shit ain't working either for him, bro.
And he's putting out all the lies there, too. There's no L being taken here, trust me.
Bro knows fitness, went on a minute. Young Nick, Albert almost got away with it. Plant-based equals trash. Sponsorship and put a new sponsor. It just means he can do another apology video for his sponsorship and put a new sponsor in it. Yes, welcome Geeks with Cash. It's nice to have you in this fucking craziness that we call
Let's see, is Retro Pro still on Twitter? I want to invite him on the show. We'll have a discussion. This should be fun. I want to see him. Well, it is what it is, man. And this isn't just, everyone's like, oh, leave it alone, it's a troll. It's just like, no. He's a big part of the whole Intellivision arc. So, it's interesting. Is he still on? He probably blocked me. Is he on Twitter? Does anybody know? If he is, he's probably... Does anybody know if he is on Twitter or is he in hiding? Let me see, maybe the Retro Bro? Or maybe it's in his... Hold on. No, he doesn't have it there. No, what happened with Wings of Redemption?
Bryce's men got here first.
Dude, you have to understand sometimes. This is why David Jaffe has people on, man, that he argues with. It would be really entertaining to have him on because I would verbally wipe the floor with him. Yeah, and here's the thing. That was the deadline for the ad, and I had to make a choice. I made that choice with that ad. That's how it works. You know, it had to be up that day. I knew I wasn't apologizing for something heinous, and I didn't want to put it in a short video because I knew the ad was relatively long. The Retro Bro? Okay. Retro. Is it underscore, bro? It's not working. I think he has me blocked. Yo, does he have me blocked? Ah, he doesn't. Alright, so... Oh, this is when he was...
Crane, it looks close to sunset. You're going to turn back now.
Jade, I'm almost there. I can do this.
Oh, he was still kissing my ass with these other ones. So, let me see. Would love to have you on. Oh, why is it caps? God damn it. Hold on. Would love to have you on the show. Discuss topics. Interested. All right, let's see if he's another Quantum in the quartering, or if he'll actually do something live face to face. That's the fuck. Here's the thing. Now, obviously, if someone did something terrible, okay, and put an ad on it. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. Deplorable, okay? But all the other situations, even in just skip the fucking ad. It's not that hard. There's times I'm like, oh Jesus, why is there an ad in this video? It does use an ad. Like, you know what I do? I skip it. I don't unsub from them. I don't cry about it. Which, look, if you want to unsub, it is what it is. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like, it's not that big a deal. I mean, especially now that YouTube has the same thing as, like, Pornhub has. So you know where the money shots are and where the titty shots are. It shows where the most people watch. It literally tells you, even if they don't timestamp it, where to skip the ad. It's built into YouTube. Stop fucking crying about it. I should do it sarcastically. That's actually a good idea, man. What stolen valor. I should, just to be a dick. Yeah, dude, that's fine. Classy tech and just skip it. I don't care. But I'm saying just go click, boom. But that actually, dude, I have like a whole queue of cameos, so it works. But you've seen it. All you gotta do is skip and watch the video, you know? Let's see. Oh, wait, did he get back to me? It's working. Who wants to place bets? Who wants to place bets he won't get back to me? He doesn't really seem like he's good with wordplay.
Brotherhood here, the bro force.
Did he just say the bro force? I won't stop the video, but I could literally stop it there. I know why someone made me take the bait with this, because that alone is just thank you for giving me this video. Oh my God. Who wants to take a wild guess he's a Jordan Peterson fan? Who wants to? This guy ain't a troll. This guy's a magical man. I assure you. Ask Pat and Ian. It's not trolling. I have a sound clip of him. He's more into this. He's very intertwined into the Amigo lore. He's special. And a fucking retard. Bird Force. Yeah, he's an Andrew Tate follower. He's a big fan of Andrew Tate.
We all love each other, make fun of each other. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure. What is Fat Bear Week? Oh, well, that's me. Why do I tickle so many men? Because, dude, I have been a commentator since before I had Review Tech USA. Yeah, I leaned towards reviews, but then I got the fuck away from that because I got tired of it after what happened with Just Cause 2. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to talk more about current events, which I already did even before I had Review Tech USA. I'm going to talk more about gaming news and give hot takes. And here I am. And people do. One thing that the internet has, we already knew that people have, especially like entertainers and like higher up corporate executives, they all have big fucking egos and fragile egos. But now the internet has really, because there's a lot of people with fragile egos, and and you see it all the time. Here is one of them. He says you sent Tommy voice messages shilling hard. Shilling for what? The only thing Tommy and I talked about was that if I liked the product, and you do even videos of me saying this, yeah, there was going to be an affiliate link for the Amigo. Did that ever happen? Again, We can come on and discuss all this. I'm right here. I sent him a DM. I won't show the DM. I didn't say anything nasty, but it's public that I sent it. I'm right here, Retro Bro. The ire of the Bro Force. On guard. Dude, all of these... You know what I think it is, too? Is that all of these big, fragile ego fucking morons that were dick riding Tommy were hoping that the thing would have, like, a niche audience and be somewhat successful so they could rub it in everybody's face. None of these guys, has anyone come out and said, we were wrong, we apologize? No, they're sitting here making videos being petty pieces of shit. Sorry. When I do the intro guy's fart, you can get one.
I don't even know how they saw me all the way from up there.
Like, that's why I apologize for those reviews. I apologize. I was so fucking out of it. Do you realize, and I swear on my kids, I did not think about it, that when I was interviewing Tommy, I was wearing the Television Amico hoodie, and I was so in a different place that I didn't realize that. What the fuck was wrong with me? And I own that. And I own that. Because I have the fucking humility to own that. And everyone's like, oh, what, you're shilling for it. I'm like, dude, I'm not shilling for the guy. It was... All he sent me was a fucking mug, a hat, and a fucking hoodie. Trust me, it takes more than that for me to shill for you. But yeah, I fucked up with that interview. It was just being a propaganda. But these guys can't admit it. They rather just sit there and nitpick you. Yeah, you fucked up. You sunk with the Titanic. No one will ever take you seriously because they see that you can be, I don't even, it's beyond, it's more pathetic than being bought. What did Tommy give you? A pseudo friendship? And you were starstruck by a guy who was barely relevant back in like the late 90s, early 2000s? That's all you need? Is to someone like, hey buddy, I was never really famous, how are you? Oh my god. That's what you'll fucking sell out for? You gave Elvin Birds. Let me look at the chats real quick. Let's call your audience the Dad Bod Squad. You're damn right, man. Goddamn right, I have hairy, floppy nipples and I'm proud of them. Let's see. Yo, my editor's stoned. He wants to come on. Let me send him a Zoom link. I'll send you a Zoom link right now. I'm stoned too. Are you watching me? You're watching the Retro Bro shit? Hold on. Let me send him a link. Yeah. Jay's coming on. Let me get to see more super chat because I know I'm going to... Let's call your audience... Oh yeah, I answered you. That's actually brilliant.
Hell yeah.
Dude, all these fucking guys, man. All these fucking ass-hurt clowns, dude. Jay knows some shit about the whole Amico drama because he's edited all these videos. So, he could give quite a bit about this. Can you come on, Google Fish? You scare me, though, because you may say something, oh, wait. Yes, I want you on. I actually want you on a somewhat regular basis. Minxie, if you're bored, you could come on too.
Hell
you're streaming,
yeah.
make that money.
I made it in one piece. Now I know how Brecken must have felt running at night. It is no picnic.
Dad bods.
Gotta report to him and tell him I don't have any answers.
Dad bods assemble. Sounds like Transformers except with mantids.
He's working for the greater good.
All right, I'm sending Jay a link. All right, we got to have a Google Fish time because I think Google Fish would be entertaining. All right, so why am I sending the link through? I'm just going to send it through Facebook. What am I doing? Why am I sending it through Twitter? Why? All right, this is like, what is going on? Where am I? On Facebook, I mean. I'm not that out of my mind. Like it. Yes, Google Fish, I assure you, I will have you on. But I need to be emotionally prepared for you. Oh, I'll share the. Oh, good. I'll share the screen with him too. Let's see when he comes on. Let me put my shirt back on. I'll piss. We should watch it from the beginning with Jay. What do you think? Dylan Bacon, thank you for giving a super chat. Gaming Arachnid. Dad Bods Assemblance want to say I love Hulk Hogan's. Yes. Damn. Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
I love Hulk Hogan's dick. I love Hulk Hogan's dick. I love Hogan's dick. Big taints.
Yes, Jay, my editor. Let me see. The accept yet? What are you doing? Set the goddamn link. All right, I gotta piss in. Let me go piss, and I'll be right back. Birds and soothing music.
Reckon is so desperate he's ready to deal with the devil himself, Rice. And since I'm supposed to determine whether or not Rice is the one who stole the GRE secret document, well, this is the perfect opportunity.
Where is this Ryaz guy? What the hell?
So should we watch this from the beginning? Jay, can you hear me? Says, hold on, let me make sure my shit is right. Yeah, I'm good.
Look, Jade. We'll talk when I get back with the antigen, okay?
Zoom does that. It takes fucking forever. Touch me.
I'm gonna sleep in my room really quick, actually.
Smack your ass if you have assless chaps on, put a bird in your hole, and then feed you corn. Are we live? Yes, we're fucking live. We're live right now. I have a bird in my lap.
But he's ready to deal with the devil himself.
I have Jay. this is my editor. That is usually even off camera how we start conversations.
This is the perfect opportunity.
Oh no, you don't even need video, dude, because we're just doing commentary over this. This is the guy who was one of the biggest Amico shills.
Oh. No.
And he can't stand me because I have ripped him a new one. So you know plenty about the Amico because you've edited share sound so you can hear it.
I know. Well, you don't. Yeah, I got headphones on.
Okay.
What you don't realize is that also I know Tommy. I don't know if
how well. How well?
Well, I mean, I could go into detail into that one day, but I mean, not super well. But I definitely met him a few times and hung out with him and stuff. But
like, how was he? Oh, I thought you were going into his story. That's why I stopped talking.
Listen, Anal. So he's exactly the way that you have portrayed him in the videos. By the way, I'm stoned out of my mind. Guys. So he's the same.
So thank you guys for joining. If you liked this part, let me know and leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one.